Oh Hello and welcome to the live stream. This is Black Box Trading and I'm your host JT. Here on the channel we focus on crypto fundamental and technical analysis. This is the technical live stream. So we're going to talk about Bitcoin. We're going to talk about altcoins because there's some very interesting things that I'm seeing in the altcoins. We're beginning to see that flip, but there's some very important things to take into consideration with the timing of this flip. Okay, so a lot of people are getting very excited with what they're seeing, but they're not taking into consideration the king of all crypto, and that is Bitcoin. So I'm going to explain the where we are in the market. Okay, there are multiple phases in the market. There are two bear market phases, and there are two bull market phases, a total of 4 phases together. Right now, we are still in phase 1 of the bull market, transitioning into phase 2. What are the characteristics of phase 1? Phase 1 is the accumulation period. This is when smart, savvy investors, anybody who's in crypto right now, anybody who's been in crypto in previous cycles, any of the smart institutional players, any of the Bitcoin whales are accumulating the supply of Bitcoin and other cryptos. And that causes a higher high, higher low structure. You can see that, if you were accumulating down here, yes, it was still part of that flat area of the bear market, but that was the point in the market cycle where you could begin to start making money and you could begin to start gaining confidence on the upwards trend. The phase 2 usually, not always, but usually gets kicked off by the Bitcoin halving, the supply shock to the miners. That's not going to be the case forever because as each halving takes place, each halving will have less and less of an effect on the market dynamics. But historically speaking, the halving is kind of like it cements that transition from phase 1 into phase 2 of the bull market. We're still in phase 1, and we have not seen a serious outperformance in the altcoin space throughout most of phase 1. We're getting near the end of the phase 1. We're getting close to the halving, and we're beginning to see little signs that altcoins have the ability to outperform. There has certainly been market leaders, Solana, Injective Protocol, IMX, even Ronin. That's one that's kind of like flying under the radar. There are assets that are showing market alpha and are moving fast. But a lot of the other alts are laggards. We call them, they're lagging assets. Bitcoin moves, then a couple weeks to maybe a couple months down the line, then those alts move. It's very important to not invest in market laggards, especially when you are in phase 1, because what happens is Bitcoin is always in control. Bitcoin is always in control. When Bitcoin rallies, the altcoins rally. And when Bitcoin dumps, the altcoins dump harder. So because Bitcoin is always in control, you need to really expose yourself to those leading assets because they will actually achieve higher levels before Bitcoin slams them back down. If you're in a laggard, the asset will just start going and then Bitcoin will slap it right down and it might make a new low. So being cautious right now is very important. It's been a good time to be in these leaders that we already mentioned, but it's been a very safe and easy time to be a Bitcoin investor. Being in Bitcoin, spot Bitcoin has been a very awesome play with, a little bit of exposure to the high risk stuff like Ordinals and things like that have been really, really advantageous for producing market alpha up to this point. But what happens in phase 2? In phase 2, everything becomes easy. It's the fastest, most expansive point in the market cycle. It's when you get the whole new cohort of new investors coming into the space. It's when everybody comes in and they just don't care what it is. They don't understand it. It's like, hey, what do I buy? Hey, what do I buy? Hey, what do I buy? And everybody's asking that question. So that's when you really start to have the ability to choose any altcoin you want because it's going to produce a higher return than what you're seeing on Bitcoin. But I'm going to show you what to look for to identify the point in which that's going to happen. And again, it all rests on the shoulders of Bitcoin. So let's just go into Bitcoin here and just take a look at the local range and just look at what Bitcoin is doing locally to try and determine what we can expect with altcoins. Structurally speaking, it's not a great structure. This is kind of, a diamond top pattern. Some people say, oh, we got a diamond top. There's lots of different ways that you can draw this. It's an ascending wedge with a bearish retest. There's lots of different ways that you can look at this. A lot of the traditional metrics for looking at the structure of Bitcoin are bearish. Not only that, but with our trading strategy, Black Box, which you can sign up for free. Go to blackbox.pro. That's BLKBOX.pro. Get a free Bitcoin trading bot that historically has outperformed Bitcoin by about 2,000%. Follow the links down below. Check it out. Our bot has been short basically from 41.5. When has our how long have we been short for? We flipped short at 41.64. 41,640. Okay. Currently underwater, but I think we're going to begin to curl over here. The assumption in the short term is bearish for me. I think we could come, my bullish outcome is, or my bullish take is maybe we get a retest of around 40. But as long as the strategy is bearish, the strategy has had a better opinion than myself. The strategy has had a better opinion than Matt a lot of the time. So we kind of submit to the strategy and assume for lower levels, as low as potentially 30. I don't see that as the higher end of the probability scale, but it's absolutely on the probability scale. So we could see, a retracement down to that level. The long and short of it is we're bearish. So what does that mean for altcoins? It means the altcoins aren't quite ready to go. But when we look at Bitcoin dominance, we're starting to see the Bitcoin dominance. Let's go over to the 3-day chart. Put in a little bit of a toppy structure, okay? And we're seeing a lot of performance in the altcoins as well. So there is a little bit of a rotation happening in the market. We're seeing a little bit more risk come online. We're seeing more people willing to diversify into other assets. We're seeing the market get convinced that we are truly in a Bitcoin bull market, and Bitcoin bull markets lead to altcoin bull markets. But I just want to give you guys a little bit of caution that Bitcoin is still in control. And if Bitcoin takes a dump, the alts are going to dump harder. But we are seeing increases in demand in alts. So we're transitioning. We're rotating, whatever you want to call it. The liquidity is changing hands and it's re-diversifying the portfolio. And we're getting into some of the interesting altcoins. So this structure right here, it's beginning to show this lower high, lower low structure. So you can see here, we have a high, we have a lower high, we have a low, we have a lower low. It's forming that high, lower high, lower low structure, which is going to break structure. So if we take out this low right here, then we're definitely in a downtrend, and Bitcoin dominance is in a downtrend is what you want to see for your altcoin to perform. Now that was a mouthful. Let's quickly catch up with chat, and then we'll go through some of the assets that I'm looking at that I think are market leaders, because you really want to have exposure to the market leaders. Chris GM, Chris again. Hello, JT. Varying viewpoint. Good morning. Best place to start in my search for ordinals. Which ones should I look at? For me, my top picks for ordinals are Bitmaps and Track. Those are great places to start. The Track Discord is a good place to get some fundamental research, but there's really not a lot out there. Follow the block runner guys for some of the fundamental news and stuff like that. But yeah, it's that's my number one pick is Bitmap. My number one by far is Bitmap, because it's not a project, it's a protocol. It's a way to build the metaverse on Bitcoin. I'm very, very bullish on Bitmaps, and I think they're going to be airdrop farms, and there's a million reasons why I'm bullish on Bitmaps, but Bitmaps and Track are probably my number one, with a little bit of a meme honorable mention of Sats. So yeah, as this continues down, we're going to see some alts outperform. Now, one alt that has been doing incredibly well is not SHIB at all. It is Solana. Solana has really shown the ability to truly outperform the market here. You know, it's 1,000% from the lows, which is way higher than Ethereum. Ethereum is not the play this cycle. It is not showing any signs that it is going to be the play this cycle. A lot of the things that made Ethereum interesting are happening again, either on Solana or on Bitcoin. So there's a lot of points against the demand side of Ethereum. It will need to adopt a new narrative or at least begin to capture some of the market demand, which it hasn't been able to do so this cycle. So a lot more participation and price action going over to Solana. Solana's been a great market leader. And we're kind of in a backup phase after a sign of strength. So from a Wyckoff perspective, this is our sign of strength move. We can label it. This is our sign of strength. And what comes after the sign of strength is some sort of backup phase, some sort of reaccumulation. What that reaccumulation looks like is yet to be determined. If Bitcoin, it's determined by Bitcoin. If Bitcoin starts to break some of the support levels, Solana will break some of its support levels. Very strong support here at around $50, but that is the extended target to the downside for Solana. We have got plenty of support up here at 80. We've also got a lot of support up in the in the $60 range as well. So the $50 target would be the extended downside target for a Solana washout. That would be a washout in Bitcoin. That would be a washout across alts in general. But we're in the backup phase. So there's going to be a consolidation. That consolidation is probably going to go through the halving, through the Bitcoin halving. Bitcoin will start to rally. Solana will rally along with it because it's been a market leader thus far. And once it breaks out, that is the official starting point, in my opinion, of phase 2 of the bull market. As soon as these alts break out of their backup accumulation phase, boom, it is phase 2. It is go time. It's very easy to make money in these markets. Another one that's quite interesting is Chainlink. Chainlink just had a breakout of its kind of backup phase. This has been a leading asset. It hasn't grabbed a lot of market attention, but it has been, structurally speaking, a leading asset in this market. So certainly worth paying attention to. The wave has turned back to green here on Alpha Numerics, indicating bullish momentum again with a breakout of this consolidation. Now, this breakout could end up being a fake out. So if you are trading with tight stops or you are trading with leverage, please do exercise an extra amount of caution. But for the spot players wanting to play the cycles, this is it's showing all the signs of continuation. Even if it does have a retracement back into the consolidation, it's definitely showing the ability to outperform and be a market leader moving forwards in this market cycle. IMX, we've been in this one. We took an entry down here, damn near the freaking tippy bottom, Pico bottom here at around 50 cents, up 333%. Same sort of situation. It's had its sign of strength already. It's had its sign of strength. It's in its backup phase. As soon as it breaks past the level of the sign of strength or breaks out of its next consolidation formation, it's going to just continue that cycle and move forwards in phase 2 of the bull market cycle, where things really begin to accelerate. Let's take a look at the IBIT ETF. Yeah, just range bound. We don't have a ton of data on this one. This is the hourly chart. It's very, very, very new. For those wondering, this is the Bitcoin ETF. We could meander back down to the lows here at around 22. I don't know. Is this dollars? Yeah, $22 per share of the Bitcoin ETF. So, get some sort of accumulation formation like this. Range bound in the $20 to $25 area is possible. But again, it is correlated with the moves of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin can break that structure over weekends. Weekends are going to be very good for Bitcoin to be able to tell its story on the demand side. So if Bitcoin can outperform the market on the weekends and not be influenced by the fundamentals of the ETF, then I think it could change the structure here, and the ETF will follow suit. Ethereum, I've been looking at the Bitcoin pair because Ethereum hasn't done it's point for point. It's basically, you know, lock and step with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is up. Bitcoin is up 175%, and Ethereum is pretty much at the same level. So there's really no point in looking at the fiat pair on Ethereum. You got to stick with the Bitcoin pair on Ethereum, because if the Bitcoin pair is doing well, you know that Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin on the fiat pair. If it's not outperforming Bitcoin on the fiat pair, then what's the point? In my opinion, if you're an Ethereum fan, there's no difference between holding Bitcoin and there's no difference between holding Ethereum, other than the fundamental reality that Bitcoin has been doing the same thing for over a decade, and Ethereum just changed to basically a brand new protocol, proof of stake protocol. So there's you've got the safety net of the different consensus mechanism. That's more of a fundamentals thing. We don't need to dwell on the fundamentals, but the technicals are saying that Ethereum and Bitcoin are moving exactly the same. So just focus on the Bitcoin pair to see an outperformance, because the only reason to really take an altcoin play, in my opinion, is to outperform Bitcoin and to stack more Bitcoin. So until it shows the ability to do that, I don't think it's going to do that. Also looking like a Wyckoff distribution schematic, it's been like this for over a year. We've been calling it for over a year. It's been nothing but a downtrend. Every time people get bullish on Ethereum, I say there's no reason to be bullish, and I'm proven right every single time. Eventually, I'll be wrong. You know, when we go into phase 2, I'm sure Ethereum will begin to outperform Bitcoin, but it's just what level will the jumping off point be for Ethereum? Will we be down here at around 3 million sats per ETH before we start to see an outperformance? Ethereum has not been the play. Let's take a look at a few old ordinals. Track, looking real good. Fantastic play on Track. If you guys aren't in the Discord, go over to blackbox.pro, blkbox.pro, and click the Join Community tab. That will get you into the Discord. If you are a bot user or if you are a trader on any of our partner exchanges, you get free access to the Signals group. You get free access to the Ordinals Alpha group. A lot of very important information that's made a lot of people a lot of money is in that Discord. So if you're not already on Discord, go get an account. Come check it out. You want to be bull run ready, not only to know which assets to be in, but when to take profits, when to get out of the market, when to exit. Can you check Track for entry prices? Yeah, let's turn alphanumerics on. Alphanumerics has been great at calling entries. Now, when the wave is green, 4-hour wave dips are fantastic entry prices. When the wave is red, you want to get daily or even better weekly green diamonds. So I think a daily green diamond would be a good place to begin to take an entry. That could bring us down to maybe this support range down here, you know, somewhere around, we'll call it $2 to $3. So anywhere around that $2 to $3 level, you would get the alphanumerics buy signal. I'm not saying it's going there. I'm saying if we hit that level, you will get a buy signal. Other than that, it's just Track's really... I mean, not financial advice. This thing's going to $100 by the end of the cycle. Maybe $80 if it really doesn't perform well, and potentially much higher targets than that. The bigger YouTubers are starting to pick up on this project. It was recently featured on Coin Bureau. It was recently featured on Ivan on Tech. So the bigger YouTube channels are starting to pay attention to this one. I think others will follow as well. This is the chain link of Bitcoin. I mean, look at what Chainlink did in the past, and you can draw some assumptions on what Track can do. And people are like, oh, it's not the same. Yes, I know it's not the same. But fundamentally, it can do the same thing, in my opinion. Let's look at the last bull market on Chainlink. You know, let's say we're here, right? If we're here, You know, Track still has another, we'll just say 3,000%. It's got at least another 3,000% move in it. So to put that on Track, yeah, it's $100, just like I said. It's undervalued. It's undervalued. Track, Benny the dev is one of the most active developers I've ever seen in my life, period, end of story. And he's one guy. This guy moves as fast as a 10-person development team. It is wild to see how quickly he's able to build these tools that are essential for Ordinals. It's a big play. So, you know, don't get cheeky with your entries. Who cares if you buy it at $3 or $5 right now if it's going to 100? Really, like, get some skin in the game. That'll help you pay attention. And if it goes down, buy more. And if it takes off, enjoy the ride, you know? Not financial advice, of course. I'm just some dude on the internet. But these are my thoughts. These are my opinions. And this is what I think is possible given the intense demand that we're seeing with Bitcoin Ordinals. Okay, let's take a look at sats, and then we'll go into the degen charts that aren't available on TradingView. Sats, it got overheated. It's heading down. It's heading down. You know, I've got this support level right here, a little bit of a bullish divergence right here, but if Bitcoin dumps, sats is going to dump. So I'd be looking at, you know, this price, which is a bunch of zeros and a 2, a bunch of zeros and a 3. For the price of sats, but you know, on alpha numerics, we don't even have a wave yet, so we don't have a wave color. We did get a daily green diamond, which is a buy signal. That buy signal has folded over. We do have a wave beginning to form if we go down to the lower levels. So it's still green. We're still bullish as far as alpha numerics is concerned. We did get a 4-hour green diamond. So we will see, but this one's very volatile. You can see how it doesn't really work the same as alpha numerics works on Bitcoin. These are very, very, very volatile. It's hard to do TA on something that has such a low market cap. It's hard to do TA on something that has such a short history. You basically just, if you want exposure to these brand new coins that have never experienced a bull market before, you know, those are traditionally the ones that do the best, you know. Matic is never going to do a Matic ever again. It was only going to do a Matic because it was brand new. So these new coins, as I've been saying for months and months and months and months, hey, what are you buying during the bear market? I don't know, because it doesn't exist yet. The new coins exist now. Go and learn about these new coins, because the old coins from the previous cycle are not going to provide the same value that the new coins are. So sats, you know, don't get cheeky with it. Don't put tight stops on this. Don't put leverage on it. Just buy spot, pull it off the exchange, hold it in a wallet that you can control. And when Bitcoin says that the bull market is over, sell. Really that simple. All right. Let's take a look at my favorite in the ecosystem, my favorite ordinal, Bitmaps. Bitmaps had a nice breakout. Let's identify the support / resistance flip over here. Had a nice breakout of the resistance at around 500,000 sats per bitmap. Now trading at 570,000 sats per bitmap. Got up to a level of 700,000 sats per bitmap, and it needs to break past the all-time high here at 770,000 sats per bitmap. This, as far as market leaders are concerned, this is the strongest asset that I see in the market, period. Fundamentally, it is incredibly strong. Demand-wise, it is incredibly strong. There is a ton of content being produced around Bitmaps. It's a very neutral project because it's not a project. Nobody owns it. It is simply a protocol design built on top of the Bitcoin network. It has crazy upside, especially in the context of block drops. You are all familiar with the NAT tokens. We'll take a look at the NAT tokens in just a moment. NAT is a non-arbitrary token, but another form of NAT is going to be BMT. And BMT is going to be a block drop. It's already available. There just aren't apps that make it easy yet. But that's going to be a block drop, which is a new kind of airdrop. New things are going to be the profitable things. First is first. This has been the profitable methodology of the market cycle thus far. First is first makes you a lot of money. So this new type of airdrop, block drops, are going to be attached to your bitmaps. These things are going to generate a ton of tokens. They're going to generate an entire mania phase category, in my opinion, a brand new category. Last cycle, the new category was metaverse tokens. I would not be surprised if there is a whole category that is just non-arbitrary tokens and block drops. So very excited for this one. It looks great. Really, really healthy chart. Very healthy chart. Let's take a look at some of the PFP projects. Now, these 10,000 PFP collections, there's a couple that I think are going to do well. I'm not a NFT guy at all. I think the supplies are too small. And I think that was an old narrative from the Ethereum days. I think we're going to have different narratives this cycle. And the 10,000 collection PFP narrative is done and played out. I think it has a place to make some profits here and there. I just don't think it's going to do what Bitmap's going to do, long story short. But we're in a beautiful spot. You know, if you are looking to gain exposure to this collection, there's a lot of confluence down in this area. It was the previous high of the initial pump. We got a cup and a handle here where the support/resistance flip was determined. It got over exuberant, nearly got to half a Bitcoin, came back down to 0.13 of a Bitcoin where it held support on the lip of the cup. Now coming back down again. These are very attractive prices for somebody who is into NFTs and who is wanting access to kind of the blue chip of Bitcoin NFTs. Bitcoin Frogs is definitely the collection that has the most attention and strongest community, in my opinion. A close second to that is obviously going to be Node Monkeys. I don't personally like how Node Monkeys were given out because this was a paid mint. Everything thus far in the Ordinal space has been free to mint, and free distribution, I think, is a very good way to create new projects. But Node Monkeys was a paid mint. We'll see what kind of value they're able to derive from, a bunch of people giving them a bunch of money. We'll see how that capital gets allocated. It also brings into question, are they a security or not? Bitcoin Frogs is not a security. It was a free mint. It was a stealth drop. It was, it's not a security. Node Monkeys had a fundraising round. So, we'll see what happens with that. But the accumulation's looking really good. We're tightening. This is the current fair market value for Node Monkeys unless there's some sort of negative fundamental, and it's right around the same price as Bitcoin Frogs. Okay, let's get out of those. I don't care about NFTs that much. Let me know if you guys are interested in NFTs. Write down in the comments if you are an NFT, if you're a JPEG flipper. It's not for me, but yeah. Anyways, let's take a look at NAT. NAT, still trying to decide on direction here. We don't have a ton of price history here for NAT tokens. A lot of holders, a lot of ability for people to dump the price, especially if the market gets scared. But, right now, this is kind of our only support/resistance flip area. We are piercing into that support range. So if we do lose the support range here, wouldn't be surprised to head down to the next kind of major support range, which would be down here. So hopefully the narrative in Ordinals can begin to recover and repair, because this could just turn into a longer accumulation. And if we start to take out some of these support levels, then we really don't know what the bottom price is for NAT. There is a lot of people who hold a lot of NAT. As far as a dip buying, this is a good opportunity, in my opinion, to be accumulating that at any price. At any price. Obviously, you want it to dump so you can get more, but I really think that based off of the total volume that we saw as soon as this was listed, and the amount of holders that hold NAT tokens, and the fact that it's first, first is first. That is the narrative. That is the meta that has been producing the most alpha. First is first. With those three things taken into consideration, I think from a cycle perspective, these prices are going to seem like a hell of a bargain one day. Even if they go to lower prices, it's going to be perceived as very, very crazy that people were able to pick it up at these prices. Speaking of crazy, we got the meme token that doesn't do anything, GIB. GIB spelled backwards is big, by the way. Big things coming to GIB. Of course, these things don't really load very quickly. But talk about a liquid shitcoin. Look at this chart. It looks like a cityscape profile. Really not a lot of market structure. Now, this one, Benny has said that there is something that is coming with the GIB token. He hasn't made it clear as to what that is. The track ecosystem is still in the early stages of development. They're working on releasing Track Core, which will allow for decentralized versions of ordinal indexing. So there's still a lot of work ahead of Benny and the rest of the Track team to get some of these protocols in place and get some protocol adoption out there and create the token incentives. Where GIB lies in that, I don't know. But this is an interesting one for you to try and figure out what it does. If you do know what it does, if you do have a quick synopsis as to what you believe the GIB token will do, hop into the Discord or leave a comment down below explaining what this does. Because so far, from what I've seen, nothing. And Benny just has this meme of, they're not prepared for the chaos. Who knows what the fuck? He's probably just trolling. But anyways. Are you still bullish on Olympus DAO or dead project? I am bullish on the idea. Olympus DAO is a dead project. If the token comes back, great. I am extremely bullish on the idea of protocol owned liquidity. I am very bullish on the idea of a decentralized reserve currency, but Olympus DAO specifically is a dead project, in my opinion. There's still a lot of activity in the Discord. The token might come back. Even if the token comes back, that idea will be rebirthed somewhere else. And I think its place is better issued on the Bitcoin network, especially if we get full-blown Bitcoin DeFi. That same idea will exist on the Bitcoin network, and it has a much better chance of working once it's on the Bitcoin network. So yeah, Olympus DAO, dead project. Still love the idea. Still love the design, protocol design, but too early, too soon. All right, let's take a look at Bitcoin on the smaller time frames. We are getting a little bit of rejection. We're definitely curling over here. This is not indicative of a lot of demand. Let's take a look at the volume signatures, declining volume overall. So, low volume underneath the support range, curling over, rounding over. These are not characteristics of accumulation. These are characteristics of small time frame distribution. The ETF was a sell the news event. How much supply was offloaded during the ETF announcement? That we don't know that amount, and that amount is still being absorbed by the market. So, when you have a flood of supply, you need to create value in the market to have the savvy investors be like, yeah, that's a good price. I'm going to buy that. And we're so close to the ETF announcement. Like, this is not a value buy for a value investor. From here to here, we're only down 13%. So that's not a value buy. That's not a value buy to a smart investor. They want to see the 30% retracements. That's where demand comes back. So we'd be looking at around 33 for a 30% correction. Maybe the bulls show up before that. Who knows? We do, again, have confluence down here at the support level at around 30 to 31, which would be a 35% correction. Not saying it's going to go there, just saying that when the market experiences a flood of supply, you do need to create demand, and the best way to create demand is to create value. So if you get a big discount in the asset, smart money's going to come back in. Savvy investors are going to start buying again. That'll create a floor. Once the floor is established and we can see the floor on the chart, then the demand will pick back up. The supply will be absorbed. The halving will kill some of the supply. The fresh supply coming onto the market, and we will be well on our way into phase 2 of the bull market. All right, so I think we will close things out there. Thank you all for joining into the stream. If there are any projects that you want me to take a look at, leave them in the comment section down below. If they have been in a continuous downtrend up until this point, I'm probably not going to have anything nice to say about them. But if they have been producing higher highs and higher lows, particularly on the Bitcoin pair, I do want to hear about them. So leave them in the comments section down below. Don't forget to check out blackbox.pro, blkbox.pro. Never miss a move again with Blackbox. Sign up for your free Bitcoin trading bot and outperform the market by thousands of % without needing to lift a finger. More information on that down below, or feel free to ask as many questions as you want in the free community. There is a VIP signal side once you are verified as a bot user or verified as a trusted trader. And until next time, please trade safe. It is a jungle out there. Peace.